Hi, I'm Sharonda, and I am going to talk about our short and assignment number 4, which is about the young lady that got into a car with a coworker, and he kind of aggressively tried to get with her or show his not undying love, but undying like. And because of that, now he's coming back and apologizing many times. There are a couple different ways that I would really look at this. Number one, I would look at all the emotions in the conflict, the emotions of the young lady. Let me see what her name is. Laura, and the gentleman's name is Tim. So I would check and see what Laura, how Laura feels. I would check in with Tim to make sure he's feeling what he's feeling. Laura is undoubtedly disappointed because she moved her job due to what Tim kept doing, and Tim felt like he was exposed and unprofessionally so, because he felt like his coworkers shouldn't know, and a lot of people was starting to know. The people in the know knew. So that's another thing I'd like to take into consideration. And then, of course, there's power, and we talked about that earlier in the book. I forget what chapter, but our power talked about the lower and the higher powers. So in the lower powers and higher powers, that's just the people that actually have the juice to sometimes change your trajectory depending on who they are. So the power, lower and higher powers, right now Tim has a higher power because he is in a management or decision making, the management or decision making profile. That's really not what the word I want to use, but he is a higher power, and Laura is a lower power. She doesn't have much power in her company, and I would acknowledge that. I would even see if there's ways that I could encourage people who were lower powers so that they would have a balance on the other end. The next thing I would do is analyze the conflict. I would ask a whole bunch of questions like who are the members, who actually is going to be a part of this conflict. It's going to be Laura, it's going to be young man, it's going to be whoever they have pulled in, because it's going to be whoever they have pulled in, because Laura, you can even count her boss as part of the member of this conflict when I analyze it. The other thing is I start to look for patterns. Has this ever happened before to Tim? And if so, how long? Does Laura tend to find herself in a place like this current one a lot? What are the patterns? And in doing that, then we're going to be able to really pinpoint what we want to say, how we want to say it. We want to make sure that we get clear understanding so we can delineate a beginning and an ending time for this conflict resolution. But that's really what I would do. I'm telling you, I would walk right through it. One of the things that I would encourage Laura to do is become a little bit more assertive on what she thinks or how she feels or how she acts. You know, if we can do that, then the other person might have a clear understanding. It did not sound like Tim really had a clear understanding that he was being annoying. And when you see him later or talk, or when you go through and talk about it a little later, you can very well see in the story that Tim didn't understand. He just didn't he didn't understand, and he was doing the best he could because he was mortified. You know, again, we're looking at our feelings and our emotions in the conflict. Tim's mortified right now. He thinks that he's done everything that he's supposed to do, and he thinks that he's done everything he was supposed to do, and he's still having some issues, and he doesn't really understand it. So I would put the burden back on Laura if she felt comfortable enough to tell him to stop, to let him know that by continuing to apologize and do those things that, you know, it makes her feel uncomfortable. Everyone has a right to a certain comfort level. And so that's all I really have. That's the way that I would be a third party, and I would try to have the people do more of the talking and more of the conflict resolution. But if they don't, I'm okay to step in. All right. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day.